Hello everyone, welcome. This is the first yoga class. I'm not sure how the audio is, but hopefully it's okay. I just wanted to let you know this is an adult yoga class. It will be just about 1 hour. I think that's what Facebook will allow for a live stream. But I will have children's yoga classes coming, but in another time. For now, I'd like us to start with some breathing. So if you could all just find yourself in a comfortably seated spot. And if you have any props, I have a strap here. You may or may not use it. I have blocks, bolsters if you need pillows. This is going to be a yin class. So mostly very relaxing, but also a little bit of flow. Okay? If you're having any trouble hearing me or seeing me, send a message. I think I can see the screen from here. So let's get started with just a little breathing. Sit nice and tall. Feel relaxation in the shoulders. Drop your shoulders down. Close your eyes. Open your mind. Soften your heart. Deepen your breath. Inhaling deeply through the nose. And as you exhale, try to extend the exhale to be twice as long as the inhalation. So start to develop a nice slow breathing pattern. Slow your body down. Slow your mind down. For this first recording, I will only use my voice. I will not have any other background music so as not to interfere with the audio, but I encourage you, if you have any soothing sounds, music or otherwise that makes you relax a little bit deeper, I do encourage you to definitely listen to whatever else helps, but also tuning into your insides, tuning into your breath, and beginning to observe any sensations in the body as you inhale very deeply through the nose. As you exhale, extending the exhale to be twice as long as the inhalation. Starting to slow the body down, slowing the mind down. And when you are ready, on your next exhale, releasing the hands from the knees. And beginning to inhale, bring the arms up nice and slowly. Spread the fingers as wide as you can. Open the eyes of the elbows. Keep the shoulders down at all times. And very slowly make your way gradually to the top. Feel your spine lifting as you draw yourself upward. Again, shoulders are down, away from the ears. Interlace the fingers at the top. Taking one deep breath here, and as we exhale, let's come down first to the left side. Try to keep the shoulders squared, hips squared, and releasing the hands coming down to the left forearm. If that's a little bit deep, you can tent the fingers and put the fingers down. You want to get a deep side stretch in the side body. Lengthening, and here we have 3 different positions. We want to be lengthening to the side. Feeling the lengthening in the oblique muscles. We also want to be opening back and lifting up to the sky. So 3 different sensations here. And on your next inhale, switching sides and coming down. Again, if this is a little bit deeper, if you feel your hip lifting, tent your fingers up. Or come down all the way and find those 3 different sensations. So lifting, reaching, and being pushed back simultaneously while relaxing the leg, relaxing the lower body. Breathing deeply here. And coming back up, arms out to the side, inhaling again. And exhale, let's bring the left fingers to the outside of the right temple. Find that soft, sweet spot and slowly bring the opposite arm down. Again, you can tent the fingers or flatten the palm. Slowly start to nod the chin into the chest. Feel the stretch through the neck. down the shoulders, down the back. And of course, what we do to one side of the body, we will always do to the opposite side. So again, dropping the hand down, tenting the fingers or flattening the palm and chin to the chest. Continuing to breathe nice and deeply. And on your next inhale, coming up to center. Exhale, releasing the arms down. Interlace the fingers behind you, lifting. And exhale, coming forward. So you want to be head down. Bring your forehead towards the ground. And hold here for just a moment. And breathe. We're going to be moving nice and slowly here today. We're going to be holding some of the positions for a little bit longer than you might hold in a regular yoga class. We will not be doing a full yin class, but probably holding for 60 seconds to 90 seconds. So just mentally prepare yourself to be able to sit for that length of time. Inhale, coming back up to center. Arms out to the side one last time, palms facing upwards, again, shoulders down. We're going to do Garudasana, eagle arms. So again, with your left arm on top, let's exhale, bring the hands together. Cross the eyes of the elbows over each other, and imagine there's someone pulling on each side and trying to tighten that as though it were a knot. On your next exhale, let's loop those arms together, trying to flatten the palms. This will be varyingly comfortable for each of you. And of course, everybody's body is different. Whatever I can do, whatever you can do, those are exactly the positions that we need to be in. Here's a nice shoulder opener. So we're going to inhale, lift. Again, feel the spine lifting. Shoulders are pressing down away from the ears. And exhale, rounding the back. So we want to get a nice round back with the extension up. And then exhaling, coming down. Really feel the shoulder blades separating from the spine. Drop the chin into the chest. And on your next inhale, coming up. And of course, what we do to one side of the body, we always do to the opposite side. So arms out, exhale. This time, right arm over top. Cross the eyes of the elbows, tie the arms together, lacing the hands, flattening the palms, and lifting, inhale, lengthening the spine, and exhaling down, rounding the back. In these forward bends, you want to be focusing on the back of your lungs, focusing on inhaling in the upper back quadrants of the lungs, deepening your breath as you inhale, coming up, and arms out, and exhale down. Very good. Before we get into any more of the movements, we're going to do a little bit of breath work. So this is the alternative nostril breathing technique. You may be familiar with it. Keep your tissues nearby if you have any in your house. Let's start with the right hand, unless you're much more comfortable with the left. Either way is fine. We're going to be essentially doing a single nostril breath, inhalation and an exhalation, and then an alternate. Okay? So you can follow my voice. You can follow my hand. You don't have to move your hand. Let's take the right hand, right thumb, pressing into the right nostril. The rest of the fingers pushing downwards. Exhaling completely. And when you're ready, inhaling nice and deep. And now we're going to take our fourth finger, block the nose, open the right, and exhale. Nice long breath. And when you've exhaled completely, again, inhale deeply. Close the right, open the left, and exhale down. Nice and slow. The exhale should be twice as long as your inhalation. Okay, and again, inhaling up. If you feel a little bit blocked, close, open the opposite, and come down. If you feel a little bit blocked, that's normal. We often have blockages in our nose, particularly with the current situation. Continue breathing at your regular pace. But it's important to keep our nostrils and our nasal passages open and clean. All of that regular cilia in there will do a lot of good to protect the natural bacteria and other disasters that are floating around in the air. Continuing to breathe, lengthening your breath with every inhale. Close and exhale. You may start to feel lightheaded. If at any point you do, come down into a child's position like this. But of course, if you feel fine, continue to breathe. We'll do a few more rounds like this. Not only is this important to clear out the nasal passage, any breathing technique is important to oxygenate all of the cells. We often have a bit of a residual lung capacity. Continue breathing while I'm talking, please. We have a residual lung capacity, and often 1/3 of the average person's lungs can be filled with stagnant air. So this helps to relieve that stagnation, and it also brings that balance both in the body and in the mind. That helps to, of course, bring in all of our instincts, which are sorely needed these days. So continuing to breathe, finishing this round. And on your next exhale, let's release. You may need to clean yourself if you're a little bit messy. That's absolutely fine, absolutely normal. Good to get it out. Better than plucking your nose hair. You don't want to remove any of that cilia, not in this viral day and age, my friends. On your next exhale, let's start to lean back, rounding the spine, bring the knees together. You can stay exactly as you are. I will turn so you can see me. Keep the knees in nice and tight. Try to keep your back in nice and tall. And we're going to play with the spine a little bit. So as we exhale, rounding the back. Really find the place on the lower spine, and then again, inhale, coming up, lengthening the spine, dropping the shoulders down. Try to exaggerate these positions, and then again, exhale, come back. Find your tailbone, find your sacrum area, and continue to breathe nice and slow. They say if there's one thing we can do every day, it's spinal movement. The quality and the flexibility of your spine is directly connected to the length of your life. At least that used to be applicable. On your next breath, we're going to come into a bit of a balance. We're going to keep that same movement, so inhaling up and exhaling down. This time we're going to come into a bit of a rocking sensation. So rocking up and rocking down, following your breath, trying to stay nice and controlled, but finding playfulness as well in these postures. Exhaling down and rocking, and inhaling up and balancing. Any way that you find yourself doing it is absolutely fine. It's a bit of spinal movement, a bit of flexibility, and also a very nice massage for the lower back. And you get to work out all of those kinks, and you see where you're locked. Pay attention to where you're holding on to any tension and really start to work on that space. It's helpful to put a block there sometimes. We can work on that after. On your next inhale, get ready to come up all the way, balance, and we're going to open the legs. So coming up into a balance. And an open and all the way down, sitting up nice and tall. So here, you want to stay balanced in the hips. Try to lift both hips up and wiggle them, open the femurs, and place yourself down. Do not come and take one buttock and the next buttock. You will get an unbalanced result. So lift, jiggle anything you need to do, open the femurs, tilt the toes backwards. The heels should be moving away from you. Backs of the knees should be open. pressing into the floor, shoulders down, lengthen your spine. Wonderful. Sitting here for a moment. Inhale, shoulders down, fingertips together. With a nice straight back, let's open, exhale down. Trying to walk the hands down. Wherever they go is exactly where they need to go. If they go to your knees, your ankles, your toes, and keep lengthening, keep lifting with every breath. You're lengthening forward. And with every exhale, you let yourself fold down, finding space between each vertebrae. And we are relaxed but active. Let your head hang down. I'm just keeping my head up so I can keep talking a little bit. And breathe here for a moment. Any forward bend is going to induce a sensation of humility. So just breathe in. We're going to hold this position for about a minute. So get comfortable here and do not be at a full capacity. In any yin position, we want to be at about 70%. That is your edge. Find your edge. Your edge is the place where you start to feel the stretch. You start to feel the muscle and the tendon and the ligaments and the joints and the bones, all kind of finding their maximum space, their boundaries. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to the fascia. So while we are doing these deep stretches, it is really not the muscles that we are stretching. It is the fascia. The fascia is that interconnective tissue. It is that sinewy type of material that they used to remove from cadavers when they were doing autopsies. And these days they are realizing that that white tissue, that is exactly what it's all about. Not only does that connect each muscle to each other, it interpenetrates every muscle, every tendon, every ligament, every bone. Not only is it interconnected with itself, but now also with each other. And when we move these deep connective tissues, we start to essentially change the armor of our body. This stuff is running all through our body, and it changes states depending on our mental state. Keep breathing deeply, inhaling. Imagine you have a balloon in your belly, and imagine that balloon with every inhale gets bigger, softer, making your physical body lighter, more and more relaxed. We'll stay here for just another deep breath. We'll get back to the fascia later on your next inhale. Again, with a nice straight back, coming up, lifting, keeping the arms, walking back up, and inhale, extending, shoulders down, eyes of the elbows open, fingertips together, palms together, and exhaling down through the midline, through the center, and exhaling completely. Let's take your left leg. Remember, you're starting with your left leg. If you're starting somewhere else, if you have a right leg or something else, remember where you're starting from. So even sitting in this position can have a few different varieties. If you're endowed in the ways of the asana, you can get that heel right up into your perineum. That's a good one. Otherwise, you can just bring the heel nice and tight into the groin area. Turn the upper torso towards the bent leg. Straight leg, active, heel moving away from you, toes moving towards you, eyes of that knee pushing down into the ground. Inhale, arms up, shoulders down, tips of the fingers touching, and exhale, nice straight spine to the side. Trying to bring the elbow to the inside of your knee, and again, lifting those three different positions. So again, lifting up, being pushed back, and once you find that edge, slowly exhaling your way over. Keep the elbow on the inside of the knee. If you're able to get the shoulder down, great. If you're able to bring the hand down, great. And then start spinning open. So really we want to just be opening up to the ceiling. And remember, there's a million different positions for every single one body who engages in asana. That is exactly the position they need to do. The beautiful thing about being able to do this at home is we have no idea what any of this looks like. All we know is it feels pretty damn good. And on your next inhale, we're not going to hold this one for any length of time. Inhale, coming up. Feel that temperature shift. Feel the blood shift. Inhale, arms up, and let's go back. So your left hand should be behind you, fingers pointing away from you. Lift your hips, squeeze your bum, ladies and gentlemen. Push your pelvis forward. Gentle with your neck if you have any injuries. And exhale down. Again, feel the temperature shift nice and slowly. Let's bring the bent leg over. So that bent leg should be your left leg still. Bring it over into a figure 4 position. Careful here, you don't want bone on bone. Not now. So ankle and knee should not be causing any pain. If it is, relax it. If this doesn't work, bring it down. We're working on opening the hip here and keeping the knee down or as relaxed as possible. Okay? So sitting up nice and tall. Again, straight leg is active but relaxed. Inhale, arms up, shoulders down, tips of the fingers touching. Nice straight back, inhaling down. Once you cannot be straight anymore, that's your edge, then you can start to round the back. As your torso comes down, keep your knee opening. You want to be really moving that hip. And we're going to stay here again for about a minute. So get comfortable. Find your edge and breathe. Let your head hang down. And if you are just joining, I see a few people coming in and out. That's wonderful. I have opted for silence, only my voice, in lieu of not knowing exactly how the audio sounds. But I would encourage you to put on some nice background music for yourself. And that way, of course, you don't have to like mine or not like mine. You can chill out to your own jam. Okay, so again, we're in a forward bend. So we are focusing on the upper back quadrants of the lungs. We are really feeling that submission. And submission, that humility, that in the physical manifestation is a forward bend. On an energetic level, it becomes acceptance. For whatever's happening around us, whatever's happening within us, these are the flows of the fate of the days that we have divined. Nothing comes from nothing. We have been building towards this for a long time, and we are ready. We are strong. Continuing to breathe very deeply, activating all of the muscles, every single molecule. Holding for another deep breath, and on your next inhale, again with a nice straight back, we're going to lift using those hips, opening that, and keep this leg moving over. So the bent leg will now come up. Keep that femur nice and close to the torso. Straight leg, relaxed but active. Heel moving away from you, toes moving towards you. Keep this femur nice and tight. We'll come into a half spinal twist. I know you can do the full spinal twist, but we're not there yet. We're going to come into that in another position. So sitting up nice and tall, keeping the knee moving upwards, and inhale, arms up, shoulders down, opposite elbow to the opposite knee. So twisting, right elbow to the opposite knee, okay, and really finding that space behind you. You can use the opposite hand as a pillar to sit, okay, and here twist with everything you've got, your eyeballs, your nose, your mouth, your neck, your chin, your chest, your neck, everything is moving, twisting. Twisting is a digestive agent. If you feel a little bit gurgly here, that's absolutely fine. You're all alone. You can do whatever you want. If you want to come into a little bit deeper, find some binding. You can use a strap here as well. And hold. We're going to hold this for about 5 deep breaths, 5 more deep breaths. I know you've been holding it already. Keep sitting nice and tall. You might feel gurgly. Let it pass. If it's painful, of course, come out of it. But this is also a digestive agent for our thoughts. So if you notice any thoughts coming to you, observe them and let them go. They are not yours. They do not belong to you. Both positive and negative. They are but glimpses of the human experience. We seek balance and breathe. Holding this for another few positions, few breaths. And when you're ready, let's exhale, release. Now this upper leg is the upper bent leg is gonna come out, over, and the straight leg is going to bend in. So we're going to come into a bit of a deer position. Okay, so once you've got that, again, your inner thighs, your groin really want to be angled down. Hips are squared. Inhale, arms up, shoulders down, and forward fold first. Find your edge. Walk forward with your fingertips as much as you can, lengthening your spine. And when you're ready, let's walk slowly out to the left side, all the way to the side and all the way back. And again, we're twisting here. Twisting, lengthening, relaxing, and we'll hold this for about 5 deep breaths. And when you're ready, inhale, walking back to center, and coming back to our bottoms. Soles of the feet together, coming into the butterfly, and let that butterfly flutter by just for a moment. We'll get ready to do the same thing on the other side. And again, sitting up nice and tall, feeling the effects of the practice on the body. This is the activation of fascia. This is the awakening of the molecules of the mind, and all of the molecules for the mind does not reside between the ears, but in every cell of our body. And now, if there's any time in human history, it is time to activate every cell in the human body. N'est-ce pas, mes élèves? Okay, so what did we start with? That's right, the left side. So bring in the right heel, bring it in nice and tight. Try to emulate exactly what you've done on one side. Turning towards the bent leg, inhale, arms up, shoulders down. Eyes of the elbows open, tips of the fingers together, and exhale with a nice straight back to the side. Elbow to the inside of the knee, and keep that positionality. 3 different movements. Inhaling up, being pushed back, or a sensation of opening across the chest, and exhaling over. And once you get that over, you start to feel that hip lengthen, and there's your fascia as well therein. Well, the fascia is everywhere, of course. If the shoulder can get a bit deeper, let it in. And of course, just observe the body. What we do to one side may not happen exactly the same on the other side. We live our life right and left, right and left. The whole society is set up right, left. So this brings balance back to that. Remember that straight leg is relaxed but active. Continuing to breathe here. Janu Shirsasana, or one variation of a half leg forward bend. Inhale, arm up all the way back. Bring that reversed hand away from us. Lift your hips. Keep your chin tucked into your chest. You don't want to have any neck injuries here, but really squeeze your behind. Push your hips forward. Open across the chest, and exhale down. Feel that shift, feel that heat, feel that lightheadedness that comes. You see how simple movements have such powerful results. Keep that leg folding over. Remember, no bone on bone. Not in this case. We want to have a nice open hip, sitting nice and tall. Inhale, arms up, shoulders down, tips of the fingers together, and exhale, forward bend. Remember, torso helps to keep this knee open. Look how much space there is in there, right? So if I were there with you and I could just kind of push you down a little bit, imagine I'm doing that right now, just pushing you down a little bit more. You will find that extra space. We're going to stay here for about a minute, so get comfortable, find your edge, and breathe. Remember, the straight leg is active. The bottom of your foot can be really stretching out as well as the toes come towards the head. Heels move away from you. We're in a forward bend, so that's a position of submission. Breathing into the upper backs of the lungs. Reminding yourself you have a balloon in your belly, making you soft or making you light or making your physical body more and more relaxed with every breath. And as you exhale, let it go. As you exhale, use this as an opportunity to train your mind to release any of those thoughts that are running through your head, positive or negative or otherwise. Find balance, find openness, find opportunity, and most of all, find yourself in the seat of the observer of your body. There are caverns and caves which we may not have excavated in quite some time. Going into these deeper yoga, yin yoga positions allows us to unpack the memories of our lives which are held in the muscle memory of our body. When you're ready on your next inhale, very slowly coming up with a nice straight back, bringing that femur towards you, flattening the foot, keeping the knee moving upwards, sitting nice and tall, shoulders down, coming into a twist on the opposite side. So inhale, arms up, eyes of the elbows open, opposite hand forward. So in this case, it is the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Find that leverage and push. The back arm can act as a bit of a pillar. You can loop your arms through if you'd like to find a bit of binding. Whatever you do, make sure the hips are squared. Make sure the shoulders are down. Make sure your diaphragm has space. Now, twisting, as I said, is a digestive agent, but twisting is also an excellent opportunity to keep our stress levels down. Because essentially what's happening now is not normal. We don't walk around like this all day and be like, hey, everybody, what's going on? So twisting is a stressful situation where the body doesn't exactly understand why we're not symmetrical right now. So in this time, there is great opportunity to find space within the body. Keep your breath as deep now as it was in the beginning, and pay attention to those little pockets that pop. Don't expect it on the first one, but keep going, keep breathing, and remember the breath should be extending. Exhale should be lengthening to be twice as long as the inhale. And when you're ready, let's release the twist, coming back, and let's put that leg down, coming into a deer twist on the opposite side. So sitting nice and tall. Again, we want to make sure the pelvis is grounded. Inhale, arms up, shoulders down, and with a nice straight back, exhaling, forward fold. When you're comfortable, walk the fingers out as far as you can go, and then exhale all the way to the side, to the back, and come into a little bit of a twisting position and breathe. Let your body relax. Let the weight of the gravity pull yourself down. As much as possible, try to get your Ajna chakra, that is your center eyebrow. Try to get your Ajna chakra on the ground. And when you're ready on your next inhale, coming back to center, back to a butterfly, but this time not quite the butterfly fluttering by. Extend the legs out a little bit more, coming into a diamond position. So here we're going to get a little bit of a different opening of the knees as well as the hips. So it's the same diamond formation. Just start to extend the legs until maybe you might not really like it. It might be a little bit tight, particularly if you've had knee issues or injuries. So from here, again, sitting up nice and tall, we'll come into a forward bend, arm up, shoulders down, tips of the fingers touching, and exhale with a nice round back, reaching forward, and exhale down. We're going to hold this for about 10 breaths. So get comfortable. It's not quite a yin position. Nonetheless, allow your gravity to pull you down. For those of you who have been practicing yoga for some time, I hope that you are finding solace in your asana. For those of you who are coming new to the practice, I just want to remind you that as long as you are breathing, you are in a yogic position. The definition of asana, asana of course means position or posture. The definition of asana means to be steady, slow, and comfortable. As long as you are breathing within this steady, slow, and comfortable place, finding your edge, respecting your edge, you are in yoga. Every body is different. As long as you are taking care of the body that you have, the only place that you have to live, you are in yoga. So on your next inhale, let's slowly come up, bring the knees together. And again, let's put a bit of rockin' fun into it. So coming back, rocking nice and gently with control. You can keep the legs closed. I'm just trying to talk. Okay, and we're going to get a little bit of momentum and come up. Okay, once you're up, again, we want to put the elbows on the inside of the knees and bring the hands down. We're going to hold this for just a moment. Very important position right now. If you're pregnant, if you have pregnant women in your lives, if you don't have toilet paper and you need to go take a dump outside, this is a good one. Spread them wider. Less toilet paper you'll need. So while we're here, try to relax. Flattening the feet, lifting the chest, lengthening the spine. Breathing nice and deeply. That's my dog snoring over there. One snoring in the side, one barking in the back. Nonetheless, trying to let the gravity pull you down. Relax your hips. If you're comfortable here, stay here. If you'd like a bit of a challenge, gentle with your wrists. You may want to give them a little bit of a stretch. We're going to do a bit of a cheating bakasana. Not the real one, just the balancing one to open our hips more. So flattening the hands down. Now, anytime we're in a hand balance, we're not going to do any crazy hand balancing today because it's an evening class. We want to do a little bit more relaxed. It's evening if you're in my time zone. If you're not in my time zone, then it is a morning class, I guess. Or a later evening class, but always the hands want to be widespread. Focus your weight on the first knuckle, okay? If you put the weight on that first knuckle, spread your fingers, weight on that first knuckle, you will immediately feel the rest of your body line up. The elbows start to cooperate, shoulders line up, and by virtue of doing that, of course, the extension down the spine lines the whole posture and benefits all around. But for now, let's just come into a bit of a balance. So if you're comfortable here, stay here. If you're not comfortable here, you can sit down. Bring the hands down. Keep that hip, those hips, opening a little bit more. And if you're able or if you're willing or want to try, you can come into a balancing pose. Now here as well, you don't have to come all over together. You can start just by lifting one leg. And then you can play, maybe lift the opposite leg. And as I said, this is a little bit of the cheating balance pose anyways. The real one comes up with your knees in your armpits, but we won't come into that one just quite yet. For now, we'll come on to our hands and knees. Whichever way you are positioned is fine. Lining up the hands and the knees. Wrists, shoulders, elbows, nice straight line. Again, what do your hands look like? They should be wide. First knuckle takes the weight. Make sure your shoulders are down away from the ears. Make sure you don't have too much of an arch or too much of a round back. But again, lining up the hips about shoulder distance apart. And let's come into a cat-cow. So inhale, over-exaggerate. Lift the head, lift the tailbone. Imagine that these two positions can connect someday. There's an invisible cord to connect the back of the head and the sacrum region. Imagine that they just come together. Drop your belly down and breathe. We're going to inhale. Pushing into the hands. Push your hips forward. Rounding your spine. You can shift the weight a little bit as well if you just want to experiment where you are stuck or where you might have tension in your back. And then keep going. So inhaling, lengthening the neck. By the way, there is such a thing as face yoga. I see that Monica is here. I saw you, Monica. How is your facial yoga method going? I'm super interested in it. I always talk about it. So face yoga or facial method or facercise. There's all kinds of things that we can do to counteract the effects of gravity and time and stress and resting bitch face or, resting jerk face. Sorry, I shouldn't say that, but you know the acronym. Anyways, on your next inhale, let's come into a balance. So again, starting with the left leg. And if you're comfortable here, stay here. Try to point the toe, or you can even do a few little ankle circles. If you want to bring in extra balance, bring in your opposite hand. How do you feel? If the balancing is difficult, use your eyes and find a place on the ground at which to gaze. This is Hatha. There is such a thing as eye yoga. So find your balance. If you're comfortable here, stay. Otherwise, let's dance. Exhale, knee to the nose, elbow to the rib. Rounding that spine, and again, over-exaggerating, and breathe. Follow your breath 5 or 6 times. Follow your own movement. And when you're ready, let's find balance. So bending the leg, opening the arm, and coming here. Now, if you need to bring in a strap, that's fine. I should have also mentioned, if your knees are a bit sensitive, you can put some padding under the knees or fold your mat over. Let's keep that leg lifting. Drop your hand down and come into a shoelace. So shoelace, I'm going to flash my bum at you. We want to be bringing these knees together, opening the feet and coming down. So if your hips are hanging out in the air, that's fine. If you come to a sitting position, also that's fine. You just want to make sure that your hips are squared, okay? Taking a few breaths here. And when you're ready on your next inhale, let's come forward, planting the hands down again, lifting that leg up, and let's bring it all the way to the front. So big step to the front and walk the feet out. We're going to come into a pigeon position here. So 2 really deep, intense poses right back behind each other. Pigeon, as you know, has many variations. If your hips are a bit tight, bring the heel in to your groin. If you have open hips, keep the top of your shin parallel to the top of the mat. We're going to hold this for a minute. So again, come into this with comfort and find your edge. Inhale, arms up, shoulders down, tips of the fingers together, and slowly coming down with a nice straight back. Walk your fingers out. Once you've found your edge, bring your head down. Let your Ajna chakra find weight. If this is a difficult position for you, you can bring a block and put it right under here, or a book, don't use a brick, they're so cold and ouchy. But you can bring this here. This will help to, again, bring a bit of balance into your hips. You can also, of course, bring this under the opposite leg if it's really tight. That will help a bit. And if you are comfortable coming down rather easily, you can use the block to rest your forehead, or you can just get it out of the way completely. Okay, let's stay here for about a minute. Keep breathing. The longer we hold these positions, the more our body responds. We will feel a chemical reaction in our bodies after about 45 seconds of holding. What begins to happen in the bodies is that those joints and the deep tissue, the fascia, the tendons, begins to release something that's called hyaluronic acid. And you'll see this all over the pharmacies. That nectar of youth, they say. It is very expensive, by the way. And this is what's getting naturally released through a yin yoga practice. Staying here for another few breaths. We're holding the positions for only about a minute today, a minute maximum, but on your own, 3, 4, 5 minutes is what you should be going for. And as a reminder, yoga, of course, is a breathing practice. So remind your breath. Remind you have a balloon in your belly. And on your next inhale, slowly starting to come up. And finding yourself just a little bit of a back bend. So not too extensively, especially if it's late for you. Back bends naturally give us a little bit more energy, so you don't have to go too back, just as a bit of a counterbalance. Again, don't forget that nice facial yoga, the deep stretch of the tissues. And exhale, let's bring the hands back. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So coming back to our tabletop position, and take a minute to let the hips go to one side, the opposite side. Whatever feels good, nobody can see you, it's wonderful, just shake it out. And when you're ready, lining up your joints, and get ready to do the same thing on the opposite side. So when you're ready, this time right leg. If this is fine, stay here. This is a wonderful place to be. And already you can feel it. This is good for the glutes, good for circulation in the legs. If you'd like a deeper challenge, bring in the opposite arm. And again, use your eyes for balance. This is Trataka. Trataka is eye yoga. Balance, I tell all of my students, academic as well as yoga students, balancing is a good task for the brain. It helps with concentration. It helps with memory. It improves our ability to focus and observe. There are millions of things happening around us, and our brain is only capable of processing 2,000 or something like that, some statistic that I'm not getting correctly. But when we start to tune into the intelligence of the body and we don't rely on just the mind, or the mind the way we've trained it to be, we start to see other things. Let's dance. Exhale, knee to the nose, elbow to the ribs. Follow your own breath. You are in your own body. From the cradle to the grave, my friends. Know what you are made of and know what you need. And breathe. 5 or 6 times. And when you're ready, let's find shoelace. So inhaling, lift. Exhale, crossing the knees over. Opening the feet to both sides. Letting the hips come down. And if this is fine, this is comfortable, this is perfect. This is a very intense hip pose. Hips and shoulders, that's the culprit. That's where we want to target. And if this is a bit too intense for you, come off of it. Find your edge, wherever your edge may be. Find your boundary and breathe. Dropping the shoulders down with every breath, your body is lengthening, lifting in the chest, finding space between each vertebrae. Feel the heat you are generating in your body. Remind yourself you have a balloon in your belly. With every breath, your body becomes softer, lighter, more and more relaxed. With every exhale, you are releasing any tension, be it physical or mental. It does not belong to you. Let it back into the universe. Take only what you need from this practice, and the rest, let it go. On your next inhale, let's shift the weight forward, dropping the hands. Bring the leg up, around, over, plop it down, and walk over into a pigeon position. So again, whatever variation of pigeon that you find is absolutely perfect. Listen to your body. Inhaling up and exhaling down. We will stay here for 1 minute. So find your edge. Allow your block to help your head relax or your hips to be squared. This is also very nice, putting it under the bent leg. What you want to be focusing on here is squeezing everything into the midline. When we visualize that center line running through the body, our mind begins to cooperate. We start to fall into those rhythmic laws of the systems within the body, and we remind ourselves that when one of those systems falls out of balance or comes into balance, the rest of the systems tend to follow. So by doing this practice, we are starting to bring ourselves back to those original states of health and wellness, and continuing to breathe very deeply. And when you're ready, very slowly, in your own time and at your own pace, remove any blocks from anywhere you may have put them. Coming back and onto our bottoms again and into a V-sitting position. Let's really hold ourselves in this time and find a bit of stillness. Don't focus on this is causing abdominal pressure. Focus on this is causing a beautiful massage in the lower back. Breathing deeply, you can rock side to side very gently. Feel that bone, that sacrum, that lower tailbone. According to yoga tradition, this is also the seat of great Kundalini energy. Kunda is a pitted snake that twirls up the spine. And when we release this energy, we release the Kundalini. It has to travel up the Sushumna, hit the brain, and come down the Ida or the Pingala, running through all of those major energy centers in the body. According to yoga, we have thousands of energy lines, meridian lines running through the body. They also happen to be where the fascia is found. So when you're ready, let's just slowly start to rock with control. And when you're ready, let's go down and stay down and keep your legs up. Let's hold them here for just a moment. This is a traditional Inuit sleeping position. To stay warm, we do not need the blood in our legs. In fact, we could cut off our legs and cut off our arms and we would still survive just fine. We need to protect the core of our bodies, our organs, our immune system, and we need to encourage that circulation, not to allow stagnating blood to sit in the tips of the fingers and the toes. So take a minute, bounce the legs, give them a little bit of a jiggle. We're coming into the last closing positions of our first yoga class. I think Facebook gives us about an hour. But when you're ready, let's start to make teeny tiny little circles with your legs. You can bend them a little bit. You can keep them straight, but try to keep the toes or the heels of the feet together. Changing directions, one direction to the next. And remember, this is not an abdominal workout. This is a lower back massage. It's all perspective. Change your mind, change your life. When you're ready, let's bring the arms out to the side, palms facing upwards, bend the legs down about 90 degrees, and exhale, let's fall down in a pendulum type of swing. Once our legs are down, let's stretch them out and turn to the opposite side. If you can touch your toes, that's wonderful. Otherwise, you can touch onto the thigh, the knee, wherever you comfortably give yourself a little bit of leverage. And when you're ready, release, bending the legs and fall to the opposite side. Inhale up and down we go. Turning the opposite way, lengthening the feet, grabbing the whatever you got, and coming back. Following this position, again, follow your own breath. Twisting is a very powerful physical force. You may start to feel your spine as well as you lengthen. You may start to feel digestion. Try to keep your shoulders and your hips pinned into the ground, and a few more times on either side. And when you're ready, let's bring both legs up again. A quick close, so left bending over the right. Now we've seen this position before, the figure four or the reverse pigeon position. So let's bring the legs here. Remember, no bone on no bone. Not now. Bring the arms between the legs and pull those in. If you'd like to deepen the position, you could lift your head, bring your knee towards your nose. Otherwise, just let the body relax, let the head relax. And with every breath, find space. Keep that knee opening. Remember, if I were there and I could just tweak it out just a little bit, it would find like 6 inches. So find that for yourself. On your next inhale, bring your hands out to the side. Cross your legs over. You might want to almost have that shoelace sensation again, so really push those knees together. If you do want to get a bit of Garudasana, eagle position in the legs, you're welcome to hook the toe under. Otherwise, just let them fall all the way, looking to the opposite direction and coming into a full spinal twist. And release. We're going to hold this for 5 deep breaths. Close your eyes, open your mind, deepen your breath, soften your heart, and let go. Start to feel the sensations moving through the body. Observe any sensations in the tips of your fingers and the bottom of your feet on your next inhale. Gently start to come up all the way, and we'll do the same thing on the opposite side. So uncrossing the legs, give them a bit of a bounce. Crossing them over yet again. Careful with your ossification. And looping the arms through. And breathe for a deeper position. Knee to the nose. On your next exhale, release, tightening those knees in together. Eagle legs if you are so comfortable. And exhale, let the body fall to the opposite side. Try to keep your shoulders pinned to the ground, looking in the opposite direction and breathing here. This position specifically targets the lower back, so really focus on that lower back region, the lower lumbars. And remember, you have a balloon in your belly. Do not compromise the size of that balloon. After an hour of blowing up that balloon, it is a big balloon. Keep breathing deeply into your belly. At your deepest breath, your abdominal walls or your diaphragm should be touching the pelvic floor. So keep that in mind as a goal. On your next inhale, let's release, coming back to center, and very gently, slowly, however you find yourself there, coming into Shavasana. Shavasana means corpse position. Close your eyes, open your mind, deepen your breath, soften your heart. Feel your body melting into the ground. Feel the effects of the practice. We will not stay here long. If you'd like to stay here, you can just shut your computer off right now and I'll see you tomorrow. Otherwise, we're going to come out. So very gently begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Allowing your head to turn to the left side, pressing the ear to the earth, stretching out the neck, and to the opposite side. On your next inhale, interlacing the arms overhead, Interlace the fingers and stretch left side like you are a banana or a crescent moon. And exhale down, opposite side. And exhale down, bringing the knees into the chest and rocking side to side, up and down, back and forth, making small circles or bigger circles, depending on what type of massage you would like. And when you are ready, let's use the right bicep and come over onto the right side. Keep the knees in. Coming onto the right side relaxes the heart a little bit. This is the original yoga position. Welcome to the fetus position. While we are here, take a moment to send your love to your mother and your father. Take a moment to send the energy that we have created to someone that you know who needs it. Allow a smile to come across your face, releasing endorphins from the practice, reminding yourself that the effects of yoga last long after we have left the mat. And very gently, when you are ready, in your own time, very slowly coming back up to a comfortably seated position. Take a moment to feel the effects of the practice. It is traditional to close every yoga practice by chanting Om together 3 times. If you're not comfortable, no one can hear you anyways. Bringing the hands into the chest, thumbs into the sternum, fingers away from the thumbs. Listen and feel the rhythm of your heart in tune with the rhythm of your life, following the rhythm of our universe when you're ready. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Atma Namaste. I hope you enjoyed the practice. If you have any questions, comments, or otherwise, please let me know. I will keep you posted as to when we're up again. There will be both adult and children classes tomorrow. Wash your hands.